This video is sponsored by Raycon. More on that later. Hi, happy Monday. Today, I want to talk about childhood fears. There was this study done in 1998 by Peter Muris for Behavior Research and Therapy that states that survey research indicates that normal children report a surprisingly large number of fears. Now, I don't really know what they mean by normal children's fears. I don't know if there's like these mutant children that fell into like a vat of toxic waste when they're a kid and now they have more to fear because they have to protect the city now, because if they don't, then who will? One of the goals of this study was to examine the validity of the screen for child anxiety related emotional disorders, or SCARED. I find it funny whenever they try to come up with like an acronym that fits the theme of whatever thing they're making is. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sure there's a more scientific way to identify this thing that they came up with, but I like how they just sacrifice that for the cool factor of the acronym for whatever they're acronymizing. But I don't blame them. If I was some smart research guy, I'd also come up with cool acronym names so the things that I invent sound cool too. The SCARED claims to be an instrument for screening anxiety disorder symptoms in the children. So the study that we're going to be looking at is going to research children's fears and see if the results validate what SCARED claims to screen themselves. In this study, they took 290 children from the Netherlands who were between 8 and 13 years old. When asking them what their biggest fear was, 11.7% of the kids said spiders. Really? Your biggest fear? Really? Get a grip. You could die in a fire in your sleep. 9.7% of kids said a death or accident happening to others, and 6.6% of kids said a death or accident happening to themselves. Then you've got being kidnapped, the dark, a burglar breaking into the house, blah, 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 boring stuff. And then finally at the bottom with 3.4%, frightening movies. And that right there is what struck me. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm on a mission to overcome my childhood fears. And most of those fears have something to do with movies or videos. Now, to be truthful, I do have fears that are like normal childhood fears, you know? My biggest fear since I was a young kid has always been drowning. I'm also afraid of being buried alive, torture, dying in a fire, watching my family die before my eyes, and death itself, as many of you guys know. But those fears are painfully boring compared to the fears that we're going to be talking about today, which I was so embarrassed of as a kid that I didn't tell anyone about them for years to come. So today I want to re-explore those fears and see how I can overcome them over a decade later. And a lot of those fears still give me the heebie-jeebies to this day, but let's talk about what specifically they are before we go any further. My youngest fear that I can remember must have gone back to the mid 2000s, and I'm talking like 2005, not like 2050 or 2500. I'm not in the future here. I was like 6 years old. And one day my family and I decided to go to a Blockbuster. You guys probably don't even know what that is, do you? Oh my gosh. Of course you don't know what it. Listen, it was this store that you went to rent out DVDs. Oh, you guys probably don't even know what DVDs are. Don't even get me started on VHS. So we were in this Blockbuster and we were walking through the checkout line to rent out our movies. And I turned to my right to look at the movies that were being displayed next to the checkout line, and there were a bunch of horror movies. And one of the ones being displayed was a movie called Boogeyman, and the cover was this monster laying sideways underneath a bed looking right at the camera, and it scared the shit out of me. It scarred me for years, and whenever I would turn off the lights to get into bed, I'd have to do that little thing where I sprint and jump into my bed. I know you guys all did it when you were kids. Everyone did it, okay? But specifically, that is what caused that fear for me. Now, I haven't even heard of or seen the cover of that movie since that fateful day. I don't know if it was a popular movie. I don't know what the budget was. I don't even know what the plot was about. I don't even know if I'll be able to find it when I look it up, but it still gives me the creeps thinking about it now. A year or two later, this movie came out that I went to go see that some of you may have heard of. It's called Hoodwinked. It was this shitty animated whodunit movie about Little Red Riding Hood, known as Red in the movie, and she has to solve this murder case with a bunch of other fairy tale creatures. As she goes on a journey to solve this mystery, she comes across this billy goat who, as I remember it, is blind, sings and plays the banjo, and also has these special horns that can fly and also be utilized as a rocking chair. Now this goat scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I kid you not. That is a pun. That's a goat pun. I just came up with it now. There's this part of the movie where he blindly sings through this near-death escape in an avalanche that Red narrowly avoids, and his ignorance to the danger that was like presented in this situation, I think just genuinely terrified me. There's this part of the scene where he like floats out of the clouds singing to Red after she escapes, and that was like the nail in the coffin that terrified me. Was this like weird angelic singing of him like floating out of the clouds without getting hurt. Like, I know it was supposed to be comedic, but like the aura of it and how like angelic and dark it was felt really scary to me. Before I was doing commentary videos on YouTube, I made a small following on TikTok making little songs. One of the songs that I made was about how afraid I was of this goat.
I hate you so much, I'm so very scared of you. A dog, bear, or duck could easily replace you, 'cause I'm so scared of seeing you on my TV screen. I don't know how you make me frown. The go from hoodwinks all around me.
Now, when I had to edit the video for the song, I had to put footage of the movie in there. And when I went back to watch the footage, it actually like gave me the chills watching it. And that was like 2 years ago. A couple of years after that, I was hanging out in the basement with my dad in his office, and we were going through all of these iTunes songs in our iTunes library, and we had a lot of music videos. My dad decided to pull up Michael Jackson's Thriller. The intro of the music video played, showing this fake movie scene of this boyfriend turning into a werewolf in front of his girlfriend, who is like terrified of him. That was about 30 seconds into the music video, and that is also where I began to sob at the terror of not even watching the video, but just hearing the dialogue between the characters, and it freaked me out so much I just begged my dad to turn off the video. And I didn't dare to look at that video again until 6th grade gym class, when we were in our dance unit and we had to learn the Thriller dance. So the gym teachers gathered all of these 11-year-olds around in the gym, and we all sat down and they turned on the projector, and I bared my teeth and decided to just sit through it and watch the Michael Jackson music video once again. Now, I don't really think I'm afraid of the Thriller music video anymore. I've seen it like 10 times since then probably, but I thought I'd cover all my bases, make sure that I can still come out on the other side, a brave warrior of fear. Now we're gonna stay in the 6th grade right after that Thriller dance, where I actually experienced my final childhood fear. Now my friends and I one night wanted to watch the movie Vampires Suck, which was a Twilight parody movie that came out around that time.
I don't get it. I'm a killer.
Now, my mom wouldn't let me and my friends watch it in my basement because it was a PG-13 movie, and she looked up the movie online and it said that there was like nudity and violence in it, and I wasn't 13 yet, so she wouldn't dare let me watch it. But I had the genius plan to go to my 6th grade girlfriend's house and bring all my friends there and watch the movie because her parents let us watch it. So we went there that night, we watched Vampires Suck, and it was definitely one of the movies of all time. I would have more to say about it, but I was like 11 years old, so I have barely any recollection of it. But misdirection alert. Vampires Suck is not where my fear came from. That same night, my friends and I gathered around the laptop to watch some YouTube videos. Now, one thing you have to know about 11-year-olds is that whenever they're all together, all they want to do is watch creepy shit and get freaked out. It doesn't matter how lazy the content is, they will eat it up if it provides some sort of scare factor. And of course, I was afraid of all the classics. Follow the Red Dot, the jump scare car on the highway video, the Grudge Girl in the mirror video. Remember that? Quick side story, when I was in the 4th grade before school one day, my very serious Filipino grandfather sent me an email asking me to play tic-tac-toe on this website, and right before I won the game, this face popped out at me, and I flipped my shit that morning before I had to leave for school. I bawled my eyes out to my mom, and we sat down at my computer and wrote back a very angry email to my grandpa telling him that I thought what he did was very mean and he scared me and he should never do that again, and it was not cool. But none of that had anything to do with what we watched that fateful night in 2010. As the clock struck the late time of 11 p.m., which is basically like the devil's hour for 6th graders, we pulled up a conspiracy video on the laptop that claimed that Justin Bieber, who was like a 15 or 16-year-old pop star around that time, was actually an elderly man in makeup who had been posing as a teenage boy in order to achieve success and worldwide fame in the music industry. There were these paparazzi photos that showed Justin with like makeup around his neck where the mask mask would be put on, and there were these creepy clips of this old man sitting in a dark room singing Justin Bieber songs with like Justin's exact voice. And although obviously all of this is completely fake, it like rocked me to my core when I was a 6th grader. Like, it really scared me. And this is not a joke at all. This is literally, as I remember it, a full video that for some reason scared me so bad that I kept it to myself for years, and I haven't even brought it up to anybody until I decided to make this video. Since that day, I have not looked up the video. I don't know what it's called or what the thumbnail looks like or even really much about it because it was 12 years ago. But to this day, I still get the creeps thinking about it. And when I came up with the idea for this video, I was like still hesitant to add this to the list because I actually was like freaked out about looking it up. But that night in 2010, a few things happened. One, my mom decided to go to my 6th grade girlfriend's house to hang out with the other parents that night, and she found out that we watched Vampires Suck, and she was very upset with me. Two, after midnight, my mom and I walked back to my house about 100 feet across the street to get back, and I could have sworn that above my neighbor's garage in the window, I saw a silhouette of a woman standing there. And three, I went to my parents' room when I got home to plug in my iPod Touch because I was grounded from it for watching Vampires Suck without my mom's permission. And my dad was watching Happy Gilmore on the TV. And there's this scene of this grandmother in the makeup that the guys from the band Kiss wear. And with everything else that happened that night, it just scared the absolute shit out of me for some reason. And I was gonna include the Kiss grandma in this video as one of my childhood fears, but it kind of stemmed from elderly Justin Bieber, so I thought I'd just mention it in passing because it still affected me. It changed who I am. So I went to bed with this seed of fear from this Justin Bieber conspiracy video, and I couldn't sleep, of course, because I was terrified. I was living in this horror movie, and I didn't know what to do. So I did what any smart 11-year-old would do, and I ran to my parents' room sobbing, telling them that I was too afraid to go to sleep in my own room for some reason. Now, when I told my mom this, she was very upset because she claimed that I was afraid because I watched the movie Vampires Suck. She said that she told me not to watch that movie because it was PG-13, and since I watched it, it freaked me out, and now I can't sleep. But I was too embarrassed to tell her that I was actually afraid because of a Justin Bieber conspiracy video, so I just kept telling her that it wasn't Vampires Suck that scared me, because it wasn't Vampires Suck. I actually liked that movie. It was a great satire piece about the degradation of society due to mindless romance flicks about supernatural creatures. I actually don't remember anything about it, but I do remember that I wasn't afraid of it. Now, everything I just told you in that story was absolutely real. The only reason I remember that night so vividly is because it scared me for years to come. Now, everything else that happened to me in 6th grade was basically a complete blur, besides all of the Chinese and gay slurs that kids called me, which is kind of confusing because I am neither Chinese nor gay, but I guess you can't count on 11-year-olds to factually discriminate against people. Now, let's talk about how I'm going to actually overcome these fears. There was this study in 2002 by the American Journal of Psychotherapy that said that exposure therapy is a treatment for PTSD that requires patients to focus on and describe the details of a traumatic experience. Exposure methods include confrontation with frightening yet realistically safe stimuli that continues until anxiety is reduced. Now, I don't think that I have any forms of trauma from these instances, but I thought it'd be interesting to research exactly how they go about this process and see how I can apply that information to see how I can overcome these long-lasting fears that I had as a child. Through this study, I learned about the misconceptions when it came to exposure therapy and how therapists will access emotions and pain that already exists in a subject without trying to create new pain that hurts them even more than it did before. I also learned about the vast diversity of traumas that exposure therapy is used on and how it's been utilized for many different types of trauma. Now, what I want to do in this video is a very different and more simplified take on exposure therapy that wouldn't really be helpful to someone who's experiencing intense trauma, but it will be safe and interesting for someone who wants to learn how to combat silly childhood fears that they had like mine. So I'm going to be doing this by directly exposing myself to these fears rather than talking through them and trying to access those past fears mentally. All that to say, if you have real trauma and you're not just afraid of an elderly Justin Bieber conspiracy piece, You should not use this video as any sort of model on how to make yourself feel better. This is for entertainment and my own curiosity, and I don't condone doing what I'm doing in any serious way. I hope this doesn't come off as offensive towards the actual process of exposure therapy, but rather I wanted to try to research it in the best way I could so I could apply what I learned to what I'm actually going to try in this video. So my goal with this video is to expose myself to pieces of every one of these fears, and hopefully at the end of it come to some understanding as to why I shouldn't be afraid of these things over a decade later. For my fear of the Boogeyman movie, I am going to look at the cover of the movie again for the first time and then watch the movie in entirety by myself alone in my apartment late at night and see how I react. For the goat from Hoodwinked, I'm deciding to watch the entire Hoodwinked movie again, but I'm also going to specifically focus on the scenes with the goat and try to reframe it from less of a creepy perspective to more of a comedic one. For Michael Jackson's Thriller, I'm honestly not that afraid of it anymore. I've seen it so many times since back then, but you know, I thought I'd revisit the video and maybe just see how I feel about that initial skit that they have. Finally, the fear that I'm actually afraid of, the Justin Bieber conspiracy video. Later in the night, I'm going to sit down and record myself looking up the video again for the first time, and I'm going to react to the whole thing and watch it all the way through. I've been nervous about doing this since the beginning of me coming up with this video, so I'm really interested to see how it goes and see how different it is after 12 years. So I hope by the end of this week, I can finally put a lot of these fears to rest, you know? Letting you guys know that these things that I've been afraid of since I was a young chap, it's been very therapeutic to me. So I'm hoping that I can dig deep within myself and kill those demons inside of me and come out on the other side a fearless gladiator. So with that, I will see you on the other side. Time to talk about our sponsor for today's video, Raycon. You guys remember these? Oh, gross. Ew, what is that? Let me tell you about something cool. Look right here. These are Raycon's everyday earbuds. And if you're looking for earbuds that are in your budget and sound great, these are the ones. Yup, they are. They really are. Just ask Ray J, Raycon's co-founder. He's a little shy today, but let me tell you, Raycon's everyday earbuds have optimized gel tips so you can listen to music without worrying about them falling out of your ears, because that's lame and it's embarrassing and everyone's gonna make fun of you. They offer 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, so you can spend half of your day just watching my videos straight with Raycons in your ears, and there's gonna be no interruption whatsoever. Raycon everyday earbuds are also Siri and Alexa compatible, so you don't even have to touch your phone. And these babies are like half the price of other premium audio brands, so you can get away with getting good audio in your ears without spending away all your money. But don't take it from me, Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. So if you want to join me and get some of Raycon's everyday earbuds, go to buyraycon.com/nickgreen to get 15% off of your Raycon purchase. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the fun. Hey everyone, it is the first day of overcoming my fears. Because I was kind of procrastinating on doing it earlier in the week, and now I only have a couple days before I have to get this video out. So I'm gonna try to do everything today. Now the issue is that I want to do a lot of this when it's dark out, because I don't want to undermine how scary this is supposed to be for me. I think since Michael Jackson's Thriller is probably the thing I'm the least afraid of, I think I'm going to try that out right now. And then I'm going to watch Hoodwinked after that, because it's not necessarily a horror movie. It's more of just like a kid's movie. And the general aura of the goat is what scares me. There's no like horror element to that would require me to wait till it's nighttime. Okay, so let's pull up the music video. Now, as you can remember, I barely saw any of the actual music video when I was 6. I kind of was covering my eyes right when it started. So I want to get in the zone of it. I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna watch it. It wouldn't really make sense if I just... Yep. Due to my strong personal convictions, I wish to stress that this film in no way endorses a belief in the occult, supernatural, mystical, or magical beliefs. I mean, back then they would hang you up on a post and catch you on fire because they'd think you're a witch if you talk about this kind of stuff. This was back in the 1600s. And I want to stress that in no way am I endorsing Michael Jackson. I think he's a little weird, or he was a little weird. Rest in peace. Not too much peace though, because he's a little bit of a weird. Oh, Maggie Rogers has got new music. I don't know what that has to do with the Thriller music video. Ah! No. That's not what I was afraid of in the music video. I wasn't just afraid of Michael Jackson. Oh, God.
You know I like you, don't you?
Yes.
I hope you like me the way I like you.
This does creep me out more than I thought it would. I haven't gotten to the point where I have any like heart rate increase, but I'm remembering this. The framing is really interesting. It is really well shot and made. I mean, it looks beautiful. But I think I remember watching this part of it when I was younger, and then I closed my eyes once the werewolf stuff started happening, which is interesting because I didn't even get to the zombie part of the music video. Like, I just got to the intro of it. I didn't even get to the song.
I was wondering if you would be my girl.
The class ring?
It's beautiful. I have something I want to tell you.
You don't tell her after you ask her out, Michael. Okay? That's just wrong. It's so screwed up. It's like when I talked about I Want to Marry Harry. And spoiler, I'm not going to say who ended up winning, but he asked her to marry her first and then told her that he wasn't actually Prince Harry. And I reached out to the winner of the show and she agreed to come on stream and do an interview with us, but then something got in the way. And funny enough, I made a joke about Michael Jackson in my Prince Harry video. That was like a year ago. I made a joke about how they should make a show called I Like Mike, and it should be a Michael Jackson based show where they have an impersonator pretend to be Michael Jackson.
I'm not like other guys.
Of course not. That's why I love you.
He's gonna shit himself.
Are you alright?
Oh my God! Mike, stop that, Mike. Oh my God, he just took down a tree. This is so much longer than I thought. I thought this skit was like 30 seconds, but I realize now that this is a 13-minute music video. Dude, Mike is having the time of his life. He's like, this is my shit, you know? I love this. But me, I was like the girl to the left. Eyes closed under my dad's desk. So that's it. That was the whole intro. And I mean, I survived. I don't think my heart rate ever went super high. So far, so good. Now let's go to an illegal website to watch Hoodwinked because I literally cannot find that movie anywhere. I got VPNs and did different countries for Canadian Amazon Prime and British Netflix, and I thought one of these websites would have Hoodwinked the movie, and none of them do. They all have the sequel, but the original movie is like nowhere to be found unless you go to some illegal website. But of course, I found a legal way to watch it, okay? I bought a DVD. I'm not on the illegal website searching for the movie currently so I can watch it. I'm not doing that. Legally, I am not. I mean, the animation is god awful. Like, this is one of the worst looking movies I've ever... In 2005, what came out?
Is everything okay?
What animated movies came out in 2005? Let me tell you. Robots came out in 2005. Madagascar. Chicken Little. And you're telling me that this movie had to look like this? Okay, I have to be fair. Hoodwink's budget is like a quarter of Robots. And to be fair, Hoodwink's box office was over 7 times what their budget was, and Robots box office was only like 3.5 times as much. So who really wins here?
Settle down, little girl. I'm on to you. Save it, red food.
Man, they're moving like animatronics.
Now you put Granny down, and you're next.
Granny!
But you, that's a...
There she is! Oh! Oh my God. I do love that intro. That is a wonderful intro to a movie. God, that guy's a freak. Oh no.
Hey, I can explain everything.
Also, great voice acting pick, Patrick Warburton. He's got a great voice. You guys know his voice, obviously. No.
Hello?
Oh, this is making me nervous. This like straight up actually makes me nervous. It's crazy. I didn't think I would be actually. Like I actually thought this would be pretty easy, but just like hearing him talk gives me the creeps. I don't know why. I'm sorry. Granny Bucky.
Could you stop singing for one moment?
No, I can. I wish I could. But a mountain witch done put a spell on me.
Yeah, so he had a witch put a spell on him, and that's why he sings everything. And also his horns wrap around and go under into a rocking chair, which I think is a really cool design. But he does scare the shit out of me for some reason. Not anymore. Right now he's just creeping me out, but my heart rate has gone up a little bit, I will admit.
Everything?
That's right.
You just talked! Just now!
Oh, did I? Did I? Did I?
I always thought that joke was funny. This movie is pretty funny. It is entertaining.
Mr. Goat, my granny's in trouble. I've got to find a way around the mountain
Oh, he's
fast.
so weird.
Well, you came to the right goat.
Oh, good. More singing.
So he doesn't have special horns. He has like, he can replace them, I guess.
But I got horns that open bottles, and I got horns that
Okay,
hold
here we go.
my keys.
So this is the time when I started to get freaked out for some reason. Is this scene right here. Okay, here we go. This is where I have to like hunker down and...
Ooh, an avalanche is coming, and I do not feel prepared.
Here we go.
I was prepared.
Okay, I think that was it. I think that was the scene. And that wasn't too bad. My heart rate went up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure like I'm over it, you know? Anyways, I think I survived. I'm halfway through my fears. Now it just comes to the hard ones. But I will wait for dusk to come before I visit my final two fears. So stick around. Hello, everybody. It is 1 a.m. and Isabel and I just hung out with some friends. I knew I had to do this because it's Friday night and I have to get the video done before Monday. And all of our friends left and I realized I had to do this and I got really scared. I don't know why, but I became very scared and I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. Now that I'm on camera, I feel like I can do it. But like I really am getting the creeps. Less over the boogeyman thing and more about the Justin Bieber thing, and I don't know why. I can't believe I'm admitting this to so many people. So it's been like 15 years since I've seen the cover of this movie that has freaked me out for so long. I don't even know if the movie's called Boogeyman or if I just thought that, because I was like, it's such a blurred memory. I don't know why that name is stuck in my head for so long. Oh, but I'm actually afraid to look it up. I don't know why. I feel like it's gonna look so dumb. Okay, for the content. I don't think I see the cover. Is it this one? Maybe Boogeyman 2? Maybe this is it? This is how little of a recollection I have, is that it was just a bed with some monster under it in my memory. This is such an interesting thing because there's not many things like this that I can remember from such a long time ago. Now that the cover has been seen, I believe this is the movie. I believe it was Boogeyman 2. But this is like not how I remembered it. I don't know why. It's just like, I don't remember the girl's face. I remember the monster being farther back. Wait, when did this come out? 2007? So in my memory, it was like 2005 that I saw it, but this would kind of make sense. Poster with monster under bed. I want to make sure it's not a different movie. No, it's gotta be. It's definitely this one. Wow, it's so weird seeing that again after so many years. That's like really what freaked me out. I mean, just seeing the cover, my fears have been qualmed. I feel like I should at least find the scene where she's under the bed. She did it. She survived in the boogie. Oh, is that Bridget Mendler? Oh, she didn't kill the boogeyman. So you think she killed him. But then, you know, post-credit scene. Well, does that mean it's time for the scariest event of the night? Oh god, I'm actually freaked out. I've calmed 3 of my fears. Okay, I've made it a long way. It's not gonna be as bad as you remember it, Nick. That was 12 years ago. You freak? Okay. I have to do this for the content. I may be terrified right now, but I have to do it. I'm so nervous. Oh my god, this is it. Dude, the whole time it was an Onion video? The whole time? This video that I was afraid of. I can't believe this is real. Oh my god. For 12 years, I was afraid of a satire video. I didn't know what The Onion was when I was in the 6th grade. This is insane. And I thought it was a documentary. It's like 3 minutes long. Okay, let's watch this.
Top story this hour, police arrested teen pop star Justin Bieber today after an investigation revealed he is not a 16-year-old heartthrob, but rather a 51-year-old pedophile in disguise. Wearing wearing a wig and a rubbery mask. Bieber, born Michael Cote in 1959, spent years cultivating an image as a sensitive
Dude, I remember all of this. This is insane. I can't believe that I remember it like this because I was hidden behind my friends. And so this is so much different than I thought. Like, I thought it was like a video actually trying to prove it. And it's literally just a video by The Onion.
Just thinking about how Justin Bieber's mind works gives me chills.
To maintain his cover, Cote created an elaborate backstory.
It's like, how did I fall for this? How come I sat there? I must have been such a dumb 11-year-old.
This photo was posted on TMZ,
Yes.
showing what appears to be Bieber's face peeling off during a concert in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh my god, dude. I think I remember from what I remember, this is like such a blur of a memory, is I was like hidden behind 2 or 3 of my friends who were like in the front watching the computer. This is like weird though. It's still creeping me out after all this time seeing this again with this faded memory. The part I'm most afraid of is the singing part, but I'm sure it's a lot funnier than it is creepy.
Investigations uncovered rare footage of Cote performing.
Yes, this is it. But how I remember it is a way older man, and there was a black background, and he was singing. And this creeped me out because his voice sounded just like Justin Bieber's, but obviously he's lip syncing.
Came to, don't tell me I ran out of time. It takes the rest of my life, baby, I'll wait for you. You need to find it just ain't true. Don't tell me I ran out of time. If it takes the rest of my life, oh, it's been a long time since you called me.
Why does it go on for so long? That's the part that really freaked me out. Wow, guys. This was a trip. The things I was the most afraid of happened to be things that I just did not remember correctly. And I planted a seed in my head of what was scary, when it turns out it wasn't scary at all. And now that I've exposed myself to this, I don't ever have to be afraid of it anymore because I know that this is a freaking satire piece. So everybody, I guess I did it. I think a more appropriate experiment would have been to continuously feed myself that content that I was freaked out about, but I think this was more of an experiment in just seeing how your memory can freak you out about things. And maybe if you're scared of something, you should go try it again. Okay? That's the positive message that we're going to take away from today's video. I've had this video idea for a while and I'm very happy I made it, but I feel like there's a lot more to something like this that I could do, and there's some cooler ideas out there that are similar to this, so let me know if you have any ideas. I post a few times a week on my second channel, Green is Not Nick, so you should check out the videos there. I've been posting some stuff that I've been liking a lot. And you should watch my collab with HiveMind that I just did. They are one of my favorite channels on YouTube, and I very much enjoyed being on their show. It's a bit of a different environment that you can see me in besides this, where I can, you know, have some fun with a couple of chumps. So the link for that will be in the description below. Same with all of my social media. And I upload things sometimes to my third channel, He Said Us, also in the description below. Remember to like this video and comment down below what your weird childhood fear is. I think it'd be fun to see what other people's childhood fears are, so put them down below and maybe I'll check out those things. Maybe if your childhood fear is cool or weird, then I will check it out for another video. Anyways, thank you for watching this video and I hope you have a wonderful week. See ya.